Welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll examine what to look for when choosing a Linux distro. For those who wish to dive into the world of Linux, but find it difficult to choose one from the countless options available, this video will help you narrow down your choices to see the distro that best fits your needs. There are several Linux of different shapes and sizes called distros. The beauty of each distro is that each one is tailored to specific user needs. Whether you are a developer, a gamer, or a tech enthusiast, there's a distro available. Number 1. Userfriendliness. As a newbie, you'll want a distro that's easy to understand and easy to navigate through the interface. Then you should be on the lookout for distros with straightforward installation process and customization. The desktop must be super minimalistic, with a focus on the virtual desktop for overall program management. It comprises the Windows layout, icons, panels, or any GUI you interact with on the OS. This will determine your overall Windows experience. There are quite several distros that mimic the looks and feel of Windows machines. For those migrating from Linux to Windows, getting around things with a Windows-like distro will be quite easy. As a beginner, you should not dive into a distro that requires tedious customizations to get things working fine. Some distros work perfectly only when the perfect tweaks are applied. The fewer the tweaks, the better. As time goes on, you could opt for a distro that allows extensive customization, which can be a fun way to learn more about how Linux works. Not all Linux distro like Debian comes with a pre-installed DE and GUI. You'll have to install them manually, and this can be a headache for newbies, so best avoid them. There are dozens of DE with a gentle learning curve to help you focus on using the OS, instead of spending time learning the OS. I have handpicked 3 among the best that perfectly fit into these categories: GNOME, KDE Plasma, and Cinnamon Desktop. For the GNOME desktop, you can check out these distros: Fedora for the vanilla experience, and Ubuntu for a more customization experience. For the KDE Plasma desktop, you can check out these distros: macOS like Garuda Linux, which is more powerful with more advanced settings and customization options. For the Cinnamon desktop, which looks like a traditional Windows 7, try out Linux Mint for a definitive window-like experience. As said earlier, there are tons of desktop environments, but these are the best to get you started. You can try out others when you get the hang of things. At number 2, hardware compatibility. Before settling on a distro, you should check the compatibility with your device. Some distro is designed to be heavyweight, others lightweight, targeting both high-end and low-end PC respectively. Here is some lightweight distro to begin with. Linux Mint with either the XFCE or Mate Desktop Edition, ideal for older hardware. Next is CentOS. You can customize CentOS with minimal installations and add only the applications you need, ensuring a smooth performance even on limited hardware. Another distro you could try out is Ubuntu and Manjaro. The idea is to install with a lighter desktop environment that consumes minimal system resources. Checking your PC compatibility with the distro will ensure you select a distro that'll run smoothly on your machine for optimal performance. At number 3, what apps are available based on your needs? You don't want a distro that is very okay in all other aspects but lacks support for the basic apps you need. Each Linux distro has access to a curated collection of apps and software called a package repository. These apps come in the distro's supported format and can be installed through the package manager. You'll want to choose a distro that provides adequate support for the software you need. Sometimes this software comes pre-installed, other times, you'll need to install it manually via Package Manager or download the supported file format on third-party repos. For manual installation, ensure you select a distro that allows easy software installation. Take Ubuntu for example. It uses an apt package manager in which an app can be installed using a simple line of code: apt install app name. Alternatively, you can install containerized apps that take more space through the use of Flatpaks and Snaps, which are universal packaging formats that are compatible with any distro. This method results in slower app loading speed, especially if your machine is running on HDD. I recommend installing apps using the distro's developer's package manager. Use other means like Flatpaks or snaps only when the app cannot be found in the official repo. Let's talk about distro specialization. Some distro is specially made for certain purposes. Each contains pre-installed tools and software for specific use cases. It is wise to pick a distro specially tailored to fit your needs to save you the time of installing or setting up your work environment from scratch. For gamers, you could check out Pop! OS and Garuda Linux, as it comes with most graphic tools and driver support for games. These include proprietary NVIDIA drivers, Wine, and Proton. It also provides support for Steam games with a smooth and near plug-and-play experience. For hosting, you could check Debian, which doesn't break things especially when you run a system update. Another option is the Fedora, which is a great mix of near bleeding edge and remarkable stability. For LibreOffice, you could consider Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and Fedora. Mint is closest to Windows, and Ubuntu, on the other hand, is easiest to manage. All these come with the necessary Office software you need for everyday use. For hacking, you have Kali Linux. This distro is designed for penetration testers and ethical hackers. It comes with basic apps and security tools like Wireshark, Nmap, Metasploit, etc. Plus, this distro has been optimized for live booting, so don't necessarily need to install these tools before you can use them. At number 4 is updates and releases. Linux, just like any other OS, has an upgrade cycle. They come either as a fixed release or a rolling release. A fixed release cycle packs all software updates together into a full distro upgrade, while a rolling release drops software updates independently as they come. For a fixed release, before an upgrade is released, it undergoes extensive testing ensuring a stable performance. The upgrade might not be bug-free, but you're sure to get routine bug fixes and security patches as soon as possible. Some popular distros that fall under this category include Ubuntu, with new versions every 6 months and long-term support LTS every 2 years interval. Fedora releases a new version in a 6-month interval and provides updates and fixes to these releases for approximately a year, allowing users to skip a release while still being able to always have a system that is still receiving updates. Another distro you could consider is Linux Mint. Though Linux Mint is an Ubuntu-based distro, it does not follow the 6-month pattern. Instead, it uses Ubuntu's long-term support as its base. A long-term support version of Ubuntu is released every 2 years interval, so it means you'll get a major Linux Mint release every 2 years. If you want access to new cutting-edge software as soon as possible, you could opt in for the rolling releases. Popular distro here includes Garuda Linux and Manjaro. For beginners, I recommend you go for the fixed release as it is more stable than the rolling release. Coming up next is community support and documentation. A strong community and documentation mean you'll have somewhere to run to in times of need. The community provides access to a wealth of knowledge and first-hand experience from other users, which is a valuable asset, especially for troubleshooting. Ensure to look for distros with active forums and up-to-date documentation. Monitor how quickly questions are attended to and the level of friendliness, especially to newbies. Communities like Ubuntu, Gradual Linux, Endeavor OS, and Linux Mint have the most active and helpful communities around here. Some communities are friendlier than others. Ensure you choose a distro with a friendly community. You don't want a community with abusive and arrogant-minded individuals. People learn better in a friendly environment. Security is also a vital aspect of any operating system, and Linux is not an exception. Newbies should be on the lookout for distros with implement up-to-date security features such as regular updates, prompt access to security patches, etc. Linux draws strength from the variety of distros it brings to the table, ensuring there is a distro, especially for everyone. However, with this strength comes a weakness because it gives rise to confusion and distro hopping. Notwithstanding, with a little research and testing, probably using a virtual machine like VMware, you could find a suitable distro to fit your needs.